draw suitable diagram, you can easily manage here. So let me start with this is spring. This is a block of mass m is kept on smooth surface. Then what I do, an X agent will come and pull that particular block. I'm an X agent. So let's see that I'll displace it. First, I'll displace by distance, say X. Then next again, I'll give further displacement of 2x. This is the elongation is 0 now, natural length. So from this mean position, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a displacement. So next further X agent what happen will give displacement of further displacement X. Then you give further displacement X here. What about the work done? What is the energy stored in the spring? All that one. So we know the energy stored in the spring, let it be U1 here, U2, U3. So what is the expression for the energy stored in the spring? So we know the spring force. What is the basic idea of a spring force? Spring force is given by F equal to Kx. Can you remember? Then work done by the spring, F into dx. Substitute this, Kx dx. What all work done by the spring will be stored as potential energy. So write 0 to x, Kx square by 2. Now what is this? Potential energy stored in the spring. Potential is stored in the spring. So U equal to Kx square by 2. What is K? Spring constant. What is X? X is the, it can be deflection of the spring. It can be elongation or compression. You can take that as elongation or compression. And then what about the energy stored in all the cases? So first U1. So U1 with how much? Kx square by 2. What about U2? What is the total elongation? Will be 2x. This will be 2k x square. What is energy stored in the third state? The total elongation will become how much? 3x. This will be 3x whole square. Let me write in this way, 9kx square by 2. So this is the energy stored. From where, who will pull this block? An action agent. So let me bring that one. An action agent, W1. Next from, let me write W1 like this. Now action agent will pull W2. Again the action agent will pull this W3. So what is the action agent? Myself. I'll hold one end of the block here and I'm going to slowly pull that so that the spring gets elongated by X. Then what is work done by me? W1. Then again, I will further elongate by X. Then what is work done by me? W2. I'll further elongate by X. What is work done by me? Let it be W3. Now you look at this particular thing. Already the spring is having some elongation. I'll give further elongation X. I'll give further elongation X here. So this particular thing we can study by two means. One graphical or we can also take help of this one. So now who will pull? So initially there's no elongation. What is the initial energy in the spring? 0. I'll elongate by X. Then how much of spring got energy? U1. Now from where this energy in the spring will come? The action agent, so myself. So my muscle energy, what happened? The chemical energy stored in my muscle, what happened? Now is available as elastic potential. Further I do work to further produce elongation of X. So what is the total elongation? Now it will become 2X. Now how to calculate this W1, W2, W3? So what is W1? W1 should be equal to U1. So this should be equal to how much? Kx square by 2. What is W2? Already it was having U1. Then I did work and it has become U2. Is that okay? The difference of this energies is what? That W2, no? The difference of energy in this one is W2. So what is W2 should be equal to U2 minus U1. U2 is how much? 4k x square by 2 minus k x square by 2 will be 3k x square by 2. What is W3? U3 minus U2. So this will be 5k x square by 2. Now what is the ratio of energy stored in the springs? Will be 1 is to 4 is to 9. What about the work done? Work done will be 1 is to 3 is to 5. No. So why I just picked up this situation is to produce elongation of x, you have to do work. To produce the same elongation further elongation x, what you have to do more work. You can see 3k x square by 2. Again, to further elongate what you have to do more work. But the elongation is same. First event, elongation x, second event, elongation x, third event, elongation x. Total elongation is 2x here. Means when it will be easy to elongate, when spring was natural length to elongate by x, or it was having elongation 2x to make it 3x. So where I'll be doing more work, W3, in the third event, I should do more work. Because any reason for that? Because we have to do work against here how much of spring force? K2x, no? 2kx. Here what was 0, and as you start moving, spring force will be acting. So this is about the work done by X-ray agent to produce the same consecutive elongations will increase. That's what I just mean to say. So let's go for some graph. Already we have come across graph. No, graphically, can we interpret this? What all we discussed? No, can we interpret this everything graphically? So there's a curve. Along x-axis, I'm going to pick up the spring force. You write it F here, that one, and this is x. So this will be x, 2x, and this is 3x. And there's an initial small basic idea. Once you get this one, it'll be much easier, because any theoretical questions anyway, if they ask, you'll be in a better position to answer them. This is x and y axis. Okay, now let me shade this part of okay, now see this. What are that U1, what is W1, you can write it. What about the spring forces? This will be kx, this will be 2kx, this will be 3kx, no? Spring force. And what is this? This is the elongation. What is the x-axis? Elongation. What is W1? This is W1, no? O, A, B, C, D, E, F. What is W1? Area of this fx graph will be work done. Can you recollect? So W1, shall I write W1 equal to U1 equal to area of triangle OAB. What about U2? Area of trapezium OCD. Sorry, area of bigger triangle OCD. So what should be W2? W2 should be area of trapezium ACDB. Area of trapezium ACDB. Then what is U3? U3 again, area of bigger triangle OEF. Then what is W3? W3 is area of trapezium CEFT. Next. Okay, this is about like this. No, if you want, you can take even the graph also. Through graph also you can work out. There are several ways to deal with the springs involved. Whenever spring comes, several methods are there. And now already, so the same thing, let me summarize. In the numericals, no, already it is elongated by x1. Then it is further elongated to x2. The same thing. What will be the work done by external agent? The difference in elastic potential or work done by the spring force, how you write? How the spring force will be acting? Spring force will act in this direction. So spring force does negative work. So what you should write? Kx dx x1 to x2. Here negative sign you put it. Why negative sign? Spring force will act opposite to displacement. So this should be k x square by 2 x1 x2. It does negative work. So if you don't want that sign, so just take it out, no problem. In the numericals, you should be careful about work done by the spring. So when spring force does negative work, when it elongates, when it does positive work, when it compresses. So able to get this. So again, you have to be very careful about the work done by the spring force. So what all you can take a graphical help, or what you can do, you can just take help of the integration. More of the spring force is variable, no? So therefore, what happens whenever problems arise, you have to be very careful. Is there any elongation? Is there any initial compression? So from that what you have to manage the conditions. So initial open there is elongation. How much work done to further elongate? There's a work done. There's only better. Let me give magnitude. Because some of you are asking negative sign. In the numerical, take care about that sign. Spring force does positive or negative work. Okay, there's the overall basic idea of this one. So let's come for vertical springs. So if you take the so springs are there. So this will be, I will release the block from rest. And what is it? If I write L naught, what do you mean by that? Spring at natural length. The block is released from rest. Now we are going to discuss that equilibrium, maximum velocity, all that one. So I'm going to release, I released it. What are the things now? So weight mg will act. Because of this, it will accelerate. And because of acceleration, it will acquire the velocity v1, and let this be mg. The spring gets elongated. Let x1 be the elongation. So if you look at again, kx1 will be less than mg. So therefore it will be accelerating down. At one point, it will have where the spring force will become equal to the weight. And this is the here it will have maximum velocity. Now, why you should call maximum? Very next moment, very next situation. What is the state of the now the spring force, and because of velocity acquired, it will move further, no? So then kx2, this will be mg, this will be velocity, it will undergo retardation. Because now kx2 will be greater than mg. Let me write. So this is the mean, so natural length of the spring. So what is the all I should measure from natural? So what is the elongation? No? So elongation in the spring now will be x2. Now it will undergo retardation. Kx2 will be greater than mg. Very next, and as it undergoes retardation, finally what will happen? It will come to instantaneous rest. Instantaneous rest. So here maximum elongation. So I'll use word instantaneous rest. So what is the state of the block? For a moment it will be at rest here. So and this is what the maximum elongation. Again next what will happen to the block? It will accelerate. Again it will come to this position. The same sequence will happen here. So let me finish off that. And this is very important. I think you see one chapter called as SHM just based on the springs ideas. So a detailed picture of one oscillation, one to and fro motion, how the motion of the block in vertical spring system. If you know that, no, I think you can manage plenty of numericals here. So again, it will come to the mean position. The mean position, the mean. So it will block will return to mean position. This is it will describe to and fro motion. Mg again equilibrium. This will be kx naught. Kx2. One more last. We'll go for it. V1 mg kx1. Now it will be retardation. Again it return back to this position. So like that what happened? The block here what happened will be describing to and fro motion this. So here this I'll call again equal to x naught only. Sir, how you can say it is equal to x naught? That is what we have to prove here. Okay, this is all of you have to remember. So this I'll call I release from rest now, lower extreme. This called like a mean position. Lower extreme and this is what is the state of the block at extreme point? Will be instantaneous rest. At mean position, it will have maximum velocity. I am indicating maximum velocity. You have to really look at this particular thing. Position of block. There are around more than 100 numericals are there in the book. Vertical spring block comes, you must have there. So now what are the things like? So now you can say that both about mean position, the distance from the upper extreme to mean and mean to lower extreme will be x naught only. So let's do one thing. When the block leaves from rest, and again here at the lower extreme, it will be at instant rest. No? So therefore, can I apply conservation of mechanical energy here? Because what is the only forces that are doing work? The weight and spring force. Spring force is a conservative force. So how do you can say that? Now, what is the basic necessity of conservative force? When it does positive work, potential G decreases. When it does negative work, potential G increases. I'll take you back here now. Now, come back here now. So initially there was no energy in the spring. There's no energy in spring. So I'll elongate by X. So what is work done by the spring force? Negative, no? And what happened? Potential G got increased. Now you release in this position. Don't apply any W1, just you release it. Spring force will act towards left and it will make it to move. It will make the block to undergo displacement towards left. Then work done by spring force, positive. Then the potential energy of the spring keeps on decreases and that will get converted into increasing kinetic energy. So when spring force does positive work, potential energy decreases. When it does negative work, potential energy increases. This is a basic feature of conservative force. No? So therefore, the spring force is a conservative force. So can you apply conservation of mechanical energy when spring force acts? The answer is yes. So I'll go for conservation of mechanical energy. So all will do work done by the gravity. So how much? Initial kinetic energy plus ui equal to kf plus uf. Initial kinetic energy release from rest. Initial potential energy, I'll take, let this be x equal to 0. So at what height it was? Gravitational potential mgxm. And what is the initial potential in the spring? 0. Finally, at lower extreme, it is at rest. And what is the potential g? Gravitational potential g will be 0 because I'm defining h equal to 0, this lower extreme, plus so therefore what is xm is equal to 2 mg by k is what I got it. You should not write kxm equal to mg because what is the reason? It will accelerate. It will have acceleration here. At lower extreme, the block will have, at extreme points, the block will have acceleration. You should not equate forces at extreme points. Okay, come for here. Now kx not equal to mg because here the spring force will balance fate at mean position. What do you mean by mean or equilibrium? Net force should be 0. So kx not equal to mg. So x not equal to mg by k. So how x naught and m are related? So xm equal to 2x naught. So what is the maximum elongation of the spring? Should be equal to twice the elongation of spring at equilibrium. So where you should equate forces? At mean position. Got this one? At extreme points, you should not equate the forces. You should not say spring force equal to weight. At mean position, spring force equal to weight. And where the maximum acceleration? At extreme point, maximum acceleration. And what about acceleration at mean position will be 0. Like that, this particular block will describe to and fro motion. Can you apply conservation of mechanical? Yes. Any spring problem comes, we can take help of conservation of mechanical. There's the one basic idea of the problems involved the spring. So now, what is the use of this? Means you can see, I'll give one simple example. This, I think everyone is familiar. The idea of conservation of mechanical energy is going to help us a lot. There's a rod. Why we have to take help of conservation of mechanical energy is this particular numerical is what is going to help us a lot. Okay, there's a ring. This is O, E. Natural length of the spring, L is the natural length of spring, and OA is equal to how much? Let it be 5L. Okay, clear this. Then, and now what is the speed of the ring? I'll release the ring from rest at point A. Is having it. So there's a rod. The ring of mass m is released from rest at point A. So now I'll release it. So what will be the speed of the ring when the spring becomes horizontal? This was the question asked for us. Find
So,
the, let me finish off this. Find the speed of ring when spring becomes horizontal. Yeah.
sir, in the previous question, what is XM and X naught, sir?
Maximum elongation. XM is maximum elongation. X naught is elongation of spring at mean position. You can see from diagram, maximum elongation.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you want, I'll write it. Elongation at mean. Okay, fine. So this is the thing. So now so let me take this one. There's a fixed rod. So what to be the ring of Masam is released from rest at point A. Find the speed of the ring when spring becomes horizontal. What is L? L is the natural length. L is the natural length of the spring, that one. What is the length OA? OA equal to phi L, no? It is given in the description. So is it spring elongated or compressed? Length of the spring is more than natural length. So spring is elongated. So how spring force will act? Spring force will act like this. Fine. So we don't know this distance OB, no? We don't know distance OB. Can we look at the geometry? From the geometry, phi L, 3L. So what can be this? This must be 4L. Now look at again when the spring becomes horizontal. What is the length of the spring? 4L. But what is the length of the, what is the natural length of the spring? Natural length of the spring is how much? It was L, no? So therefore, here spring elongated or compressed? No, here also it is elongated. Let it be kx2. Let's do one thing. So what was the question? What speed the ring will be moving here? This was the question that is asked. The weight, gravity also you have to consider. Now look at the, as the ring moves. So look at the spring force, constant or variable? It's a variable, no? Magnitude varies and also this theta varies. Trying to integrate will be in a big trouble. Can we take help of conservation of mechanical? Yes. What are the only forces doing work? The spring force and the weight. Both are conservative forces. So what about normal reaction? Normal reaction, how do it will act? It will act perpendicular to the rod and the work done by normal contact will be zero because at all positions it will act normal to the displacement of the ring. So work done by normal contact is zero. So what is the only forces doing work? The spring force and the gravity. Now I'll apply initial Ka plus Ua equal to Kb plus Ub. What is initial kinetic energy? Release from rest. Initial elastic potential energy of spring K1 x square by 2. Gravitational potential energy mg 3L is equal to kinetic energy mv square by 2 plus elastic potential energy of spring, then gravitational potential energy mg into 0. I think it's quite easy, no? So what is x1? Natural length is L. Now the length of the spring is OA, phi L. So what should be the elongation? Elongation should be OA minus L, no? Should be 4L. Now what about x2? X2 should be OB minus L. 4L minus L should be 3L. Substitute this. I think we'll get very easily the answer for V, no? Try to take the mathematical approach. So I'll find out the spring force at any position theta, then even the theta varying, then both magnitude F and theta, Kx and theta are varying. You should get relationship between for x as a function of theta and trying to work out. Really, I think will be a big mess. So what is the advantage of using conservation of mechanical energy? You can minimize mathematics. You can straight away take out the mathematics from the picture. So that's why you must search, is mechanical energy is conserved in a system. If it is conserved, it's well and good. You can straight away jump into the problem. Fine. So let's take the one question. We'll do it with friction. Okay, read the question. No? A block of mass is attached with a massless spring of force constant K. This is spring constant, and this is rough fishtailing. The block of mass is released from rest with spring in unstretched state. The minimum value of M required to move the block of the plane is. Here capital M, I'll call M2, small m as M1. Minimum value of M, what do you mean by that? So when I release it, so next again, the minimum value of M required, the block of mass released from rest with spring in action, the minimum value of M required to move the block up the plane. So this should shift. The block M1 should shift here. So first I'll release it. There's a thing. Now I'll release from rest here. So there's the initial diagram. Now what is the state of spring? The block will descend. Take like this now. For for the block M1 to shift, tell me what is the necessity condition. The spring must get elongated. Kx, then other forces acting are M1g sine theta and the friction. When the block M1 will shift, when Kx is, let me take it here, block M1 shifts when Kx is greater than M1g sine theta plus F. Is asking minimum, no? So I'll go for equal condition. Let me equate. So this is equal to mu mg cos theta. So we know sine theta, cos theta, and we know mu also. Let me directly get that value. Anybody value Kx? M1g sine theta 3 by 5. Mu is 3 by 4. M1g cos theta 4 by 5. So 2m1 6m1g by 5. Keep it here. So this is the value of Kx. Let's come for this. So now what is the other thing? Something is asking M2 in terms of M1. I think that was the only thing that is given. So how to replace this Kx? So now, what is the state of the block, this particular block? I release it from rest. And this will be instantaneous rest. So to produce elongation of spring, to produce that elongation, how much the block M2 should descend? to produce elongation of spring X, and this will be at rest, only. The block will not shift. Just about to shift, we are discussing condition. So I release from rest, and let this be instantaneous rest here. So to produce elongation in the spring Kx, so how much of the block M2 should descend? It should descend by a distance x here. So let's write the condition of the decrease in potential of block M2 is what? Converted into increase in elastic potential of spring. So the block M1, now what happened? When the block M2 reaches the lower extreme, then the block M1 is about to shift here. So therefore, the block M1 was at rest and it will retain that rest here. Very next moment here, so what happens? This will start shifting. Means further you increase the value of M2 further more, no, then it's going to shift here. So what is the kinetic energy of the block M1? Will be 0. And the M2 was released from rest and it is at lower extreme. So therefore, instantaneous rest, I'll call it. Shall I write rest or instantaneous rest?
Instantaneous.
Instant rest. It will be oscillating. The block M2 will be here oscillating. And now the very first question, sir, why you are taking instant? Why not equilibrium? That's what the word minimum is what? I'm going to justify it. Now come for this. Decrease in potential G, M2Gx should be equal to Kx square by 2. M2G equal to Kx by 2. So what is Kx equal to? 2mg, I'll write it. So equating 1 and 2. So what is value of M2? M2 will be 3 by 5 m. This will be your answer. Now few questions we have to really analyze. What are the things? What you have to understand? Why not this be at equilibrium? Block M2 when M1 is about to shift. When M1 is about to shift, let M2 be at mean position or equilibrium. Let me say at equilibrium. Then what you should write? Kx equal to mg, M2g. Then you equate that and see what you'll get it. Substitute here. So M2G equal to 6 M1G by 5. Now why can't this be answer? Why can't be?
Sir, by that we mean it is in equilibrium.
Wait. So, let me talk. In between, don't disturb. See, like now, what was the question asked? Find the minimum value of M2 required to move the block up the plane. You look at among this, which one is the minimum? Here that symbols M2 equal to 3M1 by 5. If you want to change further symbol, do the thing. No. So look at compared to this two, which is minimum? 6M1 by 5 or 3M1 by 3M1 by 5 is minimum. But sir, how do I come to in a problem where I should equate? You have to look at the mathematical situations, conditions, what they're given. Minimum value of M2. So when the block M2 is at lower extreme, then what will happen? The block M1 is about to shift. At lower extreme, you should not equate forces. Again, you should not write Kx equal to M2G. At lower extreme, the spring force will not be equal to weight. At mean position, spring force will become equal to weight. Then sir, at equilibrium, if you want, you should change this equation also. Again, decrease in potential G equal to increase in elastic potential G plus kinetic energy of the block M2. Here you have to make it. And work out again, you check it. You don't get answer. So this will be a wrong idea like this. Because at lower extreme, you should not equate forces. That's what it's telling. So either way, another way I'm trying to conclude here, at the lower extreme, don't say net force on the block will be 0. at lower and upper extreme, the acceleration will be non-zero. At mean position, acceleration will be zero. So what is the conclusion we can make it here? At lower extreme, lower or upper extreme, acceleration will be non-zero, velocity will be zero. At mean, velocity will be maximum, acceleration will be zero. So where you should equate forces, here you can equate forces, net force will be zero. So whenever the spring block comes, no, this is the basic idea one must have. Anybody having any doubt, you can ask it. Huh? This is something very basic one, which I picked up. Sir, what happens after shifting? Suppose if you make M2 greater than 3m1 by 5, 3m by 5, then before reaching this extreme only, the block M1 is going to shift. Able to analyze? If M2 is equal to say like a 4m by 5, then what happens? The block M2, before reaching extreme only, the M1 is going to shift. If M2 is less than 3m by 5, the M2 will oscillate and the M1 will never shift. Okay, some is it okay? So these are the things what we. Okay, regarding springs, just you have to work out more numericals, and you should be very particular about the springs, vertical, horizontal, other things. Oh, not saved. Okay, no, I'll write down later on. Okay, I'll stop the class here only.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all of you.
you,
Take care.
sir.
Bye.
you, sir.
See you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.